okay, I'm gonna make a presenter as well, just in case you need anything in particular.
Cool, thank you.
So hello everyone and welcome. We are the Human-Wildlife Interactions Working Group of the IUCN SSC Conservation Translocation Specialist. And welcome if you are people arriving. We have another excellent session today. The point of the session, as usual, is to discuss areas of interest of our community. So human dimensions of issues in conservation translocation. And we have very special guests. Last week we had one session about involving some interest groups, involving hunters in the conservation of the lynx in Europe, in the introduction. And now we have the second part. We are recording the sessions. They will be available for everyone. The first session, which we recorded last week, is already available in our website. And you will find in the chat area there are several links that have been shared by our Lynx friends with different resources. Okay, I'm gonna pass you on to Faye Willie, who will be chairing this session, and I hope you all have a chance to participate. Please keep your microphones off during the presentation, and then you have a chance to turn your microphones and cameras on for the discussion. Okay, Faye?
Thank you. Oh,
yeah.
Maja, are you okay? Oh, good. Thank you for that, Adriana. So yeah, welcome everyone to the second talk with the LifeLynx project, which is communicating to conserve the lynx, carrying out communication and science-based activities to raise awareness. We've got two presenters today, if I'm right. So we've got Maja Sever, who is the LifeLynx project communicator with the Slovenia Forest Service. And we also have Vesna Mihelič Oraľem, who has her PhD and is a project associate with the Slovenia Forest Service. She's involved in the Wolf Alps EU project as well as the LifeLynx project. So I'll hand over to Maja now. But yeah, the structure of the session will be kind of a 20-minute presentation followed by a discussion with everyone. So I'll hand over now.
Thank you. So can you see the presentation? Yeah, perfect. So actually Vesna will start, so I will just hand over the words to Vesna, and I will join on later on.
Okay, hello from my side. I would like just to emphasize that here with us are also the colleagues from University of Ljubljana, which are also involved in the communication activities in the LifeLynx project, Manca and Bernarda. Both are here in this and will be involved into the discussion part. So if you have any questions regarding their topics, we will hand the questions to Manca and Bernarda. Okay, Maja, we can start. So for the beginning, if you have any of you have concerns where the Slovenia is located, here is a map of the majority of the Europe. So you can see our small country where the human settlements and large carnivore habitats are closely intertwined in this human-dominated area. These kind of areas are also true for the larger parts of the Europe. So all the conservation efforts, actions or interventions should be closely supported by communication, also for wildlife conservation activities. Maja, you can go on. Okay. Before Maja will further present various concrete communication activities carried out in the scope of the LifeLinks project, I would like to present some of the activities that were carried out in Slovenia also before the project LifeLinks project application already started. Nevertheless, I believe here are many of you that are expert in human dimensions or communication field. I would, at the very beginning, like to emphasize the importance of social aspects that should be incorporated into conservation activities. You can go on, Maja. Why we should incorporate social aspect into conservation? This is, I believe, the core questions from today's meeting and further discussion. Since human behavior often poses threats to various environmental issues, also wildlife conservation, we should ask ourselves if the conservation solutions that are only based on expert opinion and policies are enough. But don't get me wrong, they are necessary, absolutely necessary. Because of that, all the communication solution should be strongly supported by the communication. In the most of the parts of the world, it was emphasized that one of the key aspects that should be incorporated in the conservation in general is the human behavior. So all the conservation activities should deal with human tolerance to increase it or at least maintain it. We can go on, Maja. And for this reason, the sociologist Thomas Heberlein, in his monography, Navigating Environmental Attitudes, pointed out 3 different aspects, or which he named fixes, that should be simultaneously incorporated into all conservation actions that are structural, and the second, technological, and the third, which is the core of this today's meeting, a cognitive aspect. The structural aspect refers to legislation, law. This is the protection of the species on national, international, or worldwide area that enable us to prepare the projects or carry out any conservation activities for the species that is endangered or in conservation. The second one is technological, that refers to technological solution. For example, measures that enable us to prevent the conflicts of the field, like damages on the livestock and so on. And the third is cognitive. This is communication and education. That is the measure that can be used to change the attitudes, but in long term. We can go on. Just to sum up or wrap up the previous presentation from Rock and Tilan, just to emphasize the dynamics of the Lynx presence in Slovenia during the past centuries. Due to systematic eradication, habitat loss, or low prey densities, the lynx in Slovenia became endangered and also exterminated from this area. Go on, Maja, please. And afterwards, in the 1973, The species was reintroduced by the hunters and also foresters in this area by 6 animals that were some of which were already closely related. Go on, please. And before the project LifeLinks project started, some of the activities were already carried out in Slovenia to check the people's acceptance of the species and its probably translocation in the future. For this purpose, University of Ljubljana, with the colleagues from Croatia, carried out the Interreg project. DINA-RIS was the name of the project. DINA is the area where the project was located in the Dinaric part of the Slovenia and Croatia. And the second part of the name, RIS. RIS is the Slovenian name for the species, Lynx. In this project, just for the information, the first Lynx in this part of the Europe was also equipped with the telemetry collar, and her name was Dina. After the Lynx Dina, now we have also large carnivore center located in large carnivore center located in Slovenia, and it's called Dina Center. In this project, the first public attitude survey was carried out by University of Ljubljana, where the researchers try to get the insight into the acceptance of the species between among the general public and especially the hunters, which were already recognized as important stakeholder group. We can go on. The results of the mentioned study from the DINA-RIS project showed that majority of the respondents supported lynx conservation and the species in general. 85% of the hunters and 87% of the general public stated that lynx should be conserved in the future. Majority of the respondents also supported the increase of the species abundance in the Slovenia and Croatian cross-border area, and the majority of hunters, up to 72% and 66% of general public, stated that they support the lynx translocations in the future. We can go on. At the beginning of the LifeLinks project, we wanted to check the stakeholders' attitudes again, even though we have the positive results from our key stakeholder species, that was hunters, and the general public, where we know before the start of the project that the general support is there for the lynx translocation and its conservation. The survey of stakeholder attitudes is also in this project carried out by the University of Ljubljana and is designed as a cross-sectional study. The first survey was carried out at the beginning of the project, the second one during the project, and the last one will be carried out at the end of the project. Besides, we just one slide back, Maja, sorry. Besides this research part of the project, we structured a detailed communication plan to communicate the lynx topics, and besides researching attitudes of the key stakeholders and general public, also actively involved the key stakeholders, which was hunters in our case, also from the beginning of the project, as Rok and Tilan in previous session explained to you in detail. We can go on. So here I will present you just briefly some of the results of the latest human dimension study that was carried out by University of Ljubljana. So if you will have any question regarding the results or the structure of the research, here is Bernarda, and will explain to you in detail if you have any questions further. So we sampled the 3 different areas. Croatian, Italian, and Slovenian, which are the 3 countries that are involved into the LifeLinks project. And from the results, you can see that the majority of the respondents support and completely are in favor with the species. The attitudinal questions were designed in a way that the respondents could state their opinion in the 5-point Likert scale, or share their opinion or agreement or disagreement in these five opinions. If we can go on. The survey also looked at the 3 key stakeholder groups in this whole sample of 3 countries. These were hunters, local general public, and livestock breeders. You can see that all 3 stakeholder groups are very in favor of the species and its conservation, even the livestock breeders. Since the Rock and Tilan also in previous session emphasized that the lynx is not conflicting species in Slovenia, we expected these results, that also livestock breeders will highly support the species and its conservation. You can go on. And if we focus only in Slovenia, we can see that also in Slovenia, the first part of the graph is general public, the second are hunters, and the third are livestock breeders. Show the similar results that comparable to the whole project area. General public and mainly hunters are completely in favor with the species conservation, and also livestock breeders highly supported the species. We can go on. All 3 stakeholder groups also showed strong opposition to the species extermination now and also in the future. We can go on. And in the last slide that I prepared for you, you can see that the first graph was the answers to the questions, so I can translate it to you. Sorry, I didn't do that before. The lynx should be preserved for the future generations. You can see that all stakeholder group highly supported this and agreed with this statement. And the second, that lynx shouldn't be I don't see shouldn't be preserved in Slovenia, because it is also present in the other countries in Europe. And all the respondents stated that lynx should be conserved in Slovenia, even if we can find the species in the other parts of the Europe. Beside the LifeLinks project and its research, we do also other research that can support the communication activities, its upgrading and further development by other research. This research was among all 3 species on the sample from zoo visitors, and we checked the correlation between different influencing factors to each large carnivore species, and mainly we focused on the between the other research, we focused on wolves and bears, which we have also in Slovenia and are fairly more problematic from the farmer's point of view. So we focused on these species, and the results from other human dimensions and educational research, we then also incorporate also in the preparing the communication activities for the links. So Maja, the floor is yours.
And now we are communicating. The last Vesna, can you please turn off your mic?
Yes.
Because I can hear. Okay. Now it's better, yeah. Thank you. So we were focused on hunters. So I will just quickly sum up what already you heard on the last presentation. We did a lot of different activities with them and actively involved them in the project. This was our main goal. So keep them active and keep them kind of so they can own the results of the project. So they are part of the project, and what we do is what they do. So this was our goal. So what we did was lectures and seminars. So before the actual activity started, we did so many lectures. We went to local hunting clubs, talked to them about the project, explained. So they really didn't have an excuse. They were not informed. We really actively communicating with them. We had one-on-one meetings during the project. We still do because we believe this is one of the most important way of communicating, these personal relationships with individual hunters. So I think this is really, really important. Also, we involve hunters in lynx monitoring with photo traps. In Slovenia, we have a wide network of photo traps, and we involve local hunters. So they are setting the cameras together with us. They're collecting the SD cards. So it's really an active involvement of theirs, a nice activity. Also, they're collecting genetic samples during snow tracking on other opportunities to collect the samples. Main activity is lynx releases. So they are taking care of the lynxes and releasing them into nature. You see on the photo, 2 hunters opening the doors of the enclosure, releasing the lynx into nature. So this was really one of the big activities. When the lynx is released, we do telemetry. They are involved. They are checking where the animals are. They're really interested in what's going on with them. Also, they were involved in naming some of the lynxes. We gave some of them the opportunity, and they decided to name some of the lynx after one of their fellow hunters. So we thought that's also a nice way of them to involve in the project. Also, we have a Facebook group, which is closed group, but still the hunters that are involved in the monitoring, they post photos from the camera trapping there. So we talk to them in that group, and we have, they can share the photos in that group. And also, of course, last but not least, the Hunter Association is the partner in the project, so they have their own activity preventing illegal killing of wildlife, which is a big one, and also some other activities. Also, on the bottom, you can see a photo. Hunters received an award from a municipality for releasing the lynx in the Gorenjska region, which is in Slovenia. I don't know if you're familiar, but a region which is not really in favor of carnivores. So the mayor gave the hunters a municipality award for bringing the lynx. So, wow. And also they did this in Slovenian, but just to show it was their hunters' days. They were dedicated to the lynx, and we had presentations so the hunters could learn more about the lynx. So this is really like, I've just summed up like a half an hour presentation you heard last week. So just for those of you who weren't present there. The next really important group is, of course, our children. Yeah, they're our future, so and we know that, and that's why we have a special activity designed just for them. We call it Young Lynx Guardians, and in the scope of this activity, actually, Manca is in charge of this activity. We involve 9 schools. And each of these schools all around Slovenia, they kind of adopt a lynx. So this is the way of them getting to know these lynx more. They get information, what's going on with the lynx and so on. So they are more familiar with this animal that they get. Also, we have workshops for them, field trips. We will have open door days. So actively involve them, into getting to know the lynx that are being released and communicate about also for themselves. They chose a name for some of the links that were brought. Also, they draw some nice pictures of the links. So it's really, you know, the children are, yeah, they're the best. So you can really work with them. We also work with teachers, of course, because we cannot communicate for ourselves with all the children. We use teachers to do that for us. So we produced a nice manual for them, so they can communicate properly about the links, the topics. They can include this in their curriculum. We had also seminars for them, also to get them to know to this topic even more. Interactive lessons are a really nice thing. They're kind of a game, like a cartoon. You can see on this photo, you can click on the links and learn about it. So it's kind of interactive. The children can quite easy get to know to this and learn more about the links. And also we did some bookmarks and postcards. It's really nice, yeah, to have some giveaway, you know, when we have some events, and bookmarks are nice. So we encourage children to read and, yeah, give them bookmarks with the photos of links. Also, our important stakeholder, local communities. So we designed this special kind of groups. We call it local consultative groups. They were established in areas where links were released. So we wanted to involve the locals from that area where we are bringing the links back to. We designed 6 such groups in Slovenia and 2 groups in Croatia. So at the beginning, we informed what we are doing. We presented the project, but also we wanted to get feedback from them. We also wanted to learn what they're interested about, and so we could present that to them. So it kind of was an opportunity for us to meet and to give them a chance to ask us some questions, or so we had a lot of online meetings afterwards because, you know, the COVID happened, but still we managed to have yearly gatherings of all these local consultative group members. We also took them on some field trips. Here on the photo in the middle, you can see we took them to see a lynx before it was released. So I think that was really nice, because the locals should have an opportunity. If we release the animal in their environment, it's important that they are able to see this animal, because when it's in the wild, I guess the lynx, it's really quite shy animal, so the possibility of seeing one is quite low. Also, yeah, we did some other field trip activities, show them how we capture the lynx. It's a photo of a box trap and showing them how it's done. Also, there was a special project done with the local consultative group members. We actually had some funds planned, which we wanted to use for reimbursement of travel costs. But then we asked them, do you want travel costs? I guess they said no. Do you want to use this money for something else? And there were some ideas, and they voted on those ideas, what they could use the money for. It was not a lot of money, but still, for a local community, it was something. So they decided to do notice boards. They wanted to go field work days. We will do some carnivore skull replicas for schools. Also take them on some excursions. The hunters from some area decided they would like to have a soundboard, so the voices of forest animals would be there presented, because they have their own activities. So it's a nice thing to do. And we did didactics games for children. This is what you see on the photo. They're like simple games the children can do with their parents, learn about the lynx during playing. So there was actually a school teacher whose idea this was, and she produced this, and we are really amazed on the outcome, because, you know, this was not planned at the beginning of the project. This was something that was done afterwards, and the idea came from the locals. So I think this was a really nice thing, and I would encourage to do more of this kind of activities, because, you know, we know what we want to do, how we want to communicate, but at the end we should ask the locals. Maybe they want something else, not what we were thinking about. And they were really actively involved in these activities. So this, I think, was the most important thing. Also for the locals, but maybe also for the broader audience, we did activity based on tourism. So we wanted to leave some benefits for local communities and also for lynx conservation after the project will end. So we produced a lynx walk. It's a longer trail connecting lynx habitat between Slovenia and Croatia. So we produced an online guide. So if you are interested in that, you download it and you take a walk. So it's a 90-something kilometers. I think 3 days should do it. And then on the road, we just marked some spots, not with the notice boards in the forest, but electronically, so people can check on their phones and learn more about the lynx. So we did this. Also, we did some shorter educational paths in Slovenia and in Italy. It's really nice because in Slovenia, yeah, we did, it's called the Lynx path, but we also produced their notice boards there, of course. It's a shorter one, educational. And we also produced a guide to take you through this path, and also these interactive e-lessons that are there, also part of let's say enriching the experience which you have on this educational path. We also did some normal notice boards which will be put all around Slovenia. Also a thing that will stay after the project ends, so people, visitors of some lynx habitat can see, oh, there was something going on here in the past, let's say. Really nice activity was with some artists. We did lynx art workshops with amateur artists and also professional artists, produced a lot of nice lynx art. Oh, I forgot to put this forward. So just some photos so you can see. This is on the bottom is the lynx art workshop. Yeah, they were creating lynx art and learning more about the lynx. So we, the experts, came there, had some lecture for them, and then they were creating the paintings. And then additional, we were contacted by a cycling group from Austria. They said, oh, we really want to do something with lynx. Our logo is the lynx, so we really feel connected to that. Could we do something together? Do you have some ideas? And then what could we do? And we decided, okay, let's expand this lynx walk that we created and do it a cycling route. So now we were just in the process of making this. I think in spring we will have the opening of this cycling route. And yeah, and we did this extra with them. So yeah, it was again like an initiative that came afterwards, but we are happy to work with them. So they did an already around the path and decided where is the best way to take the cyclists to get them to know the lynx habitat and carnivores of that area. Another activity, really nice one, was celebrity ambassadors. So we decided, let's do some famous people, and let's ask them if they would be willing to work with our project. And at the beginning, we got two sportsmen. So one was Peter Prejoc. He's a quite famous ski jumper. I don't know if you're into ski jumping, but he's quite famous. His career is going a bit down now, but still he's really popular in Slovenia. So he was, of course, willing to participate. We presented him on our project webpage. He was also present at some events. He publicly opposed illegal killing and other wildlife at the press conferences that Hunting Association held. So this was a really strong message. And also he opened the door of one of the lynxes that was released in the Alpine region. So, and also he shares our Facebook posts and it's actively involved in the project. The other one is Anžeko Peter. He's a hockey player now playing in US. I don't know, I guess some of you might know him. He plays for the LA Kings. He used to be, I guess, their captain. I'm not sure if he's anymore, but he's a Slovenian ice hockey player, and our Slovenian team, ice hockey team, is named Risi, which is called the Lynx. So they have their logo with the Lynx, and we took advantage of that, and then we asked him, would you cooperate? And he said yes, and we shot some video clips which we shared on the webpage, also on TV, on Facebook, and also he shares our posts. So we don't want to burden the celebrity ambassadors too much, but still as much as they want to. So I think this is the right balance. And now the project is almost ending, but still we got another celebrity ambassador just last year. It's a Slovenian writer and actress, Vesna Mihelič. She's really famous in Slovenia. I think the libraries are really happy that she's writing books because there are a lot of books coming out that she wrote. And we decided to cooperate with her, that she would write a children's book about lynx. we kind of checked on what are the books about. Is there links in the books? You know, there are bears and wolves, like stars of some books, but there's no links actually. So we said, okay, would you be willing to write a book about links for children and use the proper information about links? We don't want to scare people with links. We don't want to give some misleading information about that. So she said yes, and she prepared a really nice book, which will be published just this month. It's finished already, so it's in the printers now. And the really translocated links will be the stars of this book. Max is the lead lynx that is starring in the book, and the facts about the lynx and other wildlife are like checked by our project team and are like correct. So the children will get the right information of the forest animals. Also, she was already present and will be present in our project events because we would like to also promote the book and her. So in the future events, we will involve her in this. Also, what we did, documentary films. So we planned 2 films. One was done already at the beginning of the project. It's a historical film called Path of the Lynx. It just describes the first lynx reintroduction in 1973. So we actually got almost all of the older guys who were involved, the older hunters who were involved in that reintroduction. We got them on film. And we were really lucky because just a few years afterwards, they're deceased and they're no longer with us. So we were really happy that we have them on film. It's a really nice one. You can find it on YouTube or on Vimeo. It's 25 minutes. I wouldn't show it right now. We don't have the time, but I invite you to check for yourselves. Also, we wanted, of course, to leave a film about the project, what we are doing. We have a really nice images of lynxes running out of the enclosures and getting released, and also on camera traps. We have nice videos, and we will prepare a documentary film about Life Lynx project. We are just in the process of doing this. We plan to release this film in the summer this year. So we'll keep you posted about that. And also we produce short video clips. We found this very useful because we produce a lot of material and we release it when it happens. So when the release happens, we have a short video clip made. Also, it's on YouTube. You can check it out. They're really nice and nice clips. We do, of course, a lot of communication with the media. They're the ones who are spreading the word to the general public, let's say. We did some special activities for them called field trips. So we take individual journalists on a field trip, talk to them, and they prepare maybe some article about this or shoot something for the television. So this was a really nice activity. Also, when we have Lynx releases, we have press conferences, we invite them. The turnout is really good because it's a nice, sexy animal. So of course they want to take a video of that. It was really funny because we were sure that for the first Lynx release, everybody will come. But then at the second and third, now it's already 10 lynxes were released in Slovenia. Still they come. So it's really nice to keep them involved. We also do a lot of individual communication with journalists. We talk to them, call them. So I think this is really important to. That's why the project is mentioned in the media. Just to sum up where you can find us online, so webpage, Facebook, Instagram, Vimeo also, and YouTube. We have a lot of other materials, also produce brochures, bulletins, so you can find everything on our webpage. So if you scroll around there, you will find it. And just for the end, what is Life Lynx? We were just talking so much about communication. We didn't really mention who is Life Lynx, how many people are involved. So we have project partners from Slovakia Technical University, from Romania, Action for Wildlife. So they're the ones who are capturing wild lynx and bringing them to Slovenia and Croatia. So in Slovenia, we have Forest Service, Hunter Association, University of Ljubljana, and Nature Conservation Agency. In Croatia, we have Biom, it's an NGO, Karlovac University and Zagreb University. And also from Italy, we have Progetto Lince and the Carabinieri. And of course, the co-financiers, they're giving the money to do what we do, and other collaborators. Just a lot of people involved, and we are on the same direction, saving the lynx. So that's it. Sorry, I was maybe a little bit too long, but there's so much, so many things we do.
No, thank you so much. They were both fascinating talks, and it really shows how much hard work has gone into communicating about the lynx. So yeah, it's really impressive. So now we are going to have a Q&A. So yeah, if you want to raise your hand to ask questions, alternatively, if you do want to write them out in the chat, that's also fine, and I can read them out. But I think we already have a hand up, so we'll start with Amy. Would you like to ask your question?
I'm just going to remind people to introduce themselves before they ask their questions, okay? Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I failed to do that last time, so I'm going to do it properly this time. Sorry, Adriana. Hello, I'm Amy Fitzmaurice. I am from Kent Wildlife Trust. I'm the Human Wildlife Coexistence Officer. Great talk, great project. Thank you very much. I had 2 questions. I hope that's okay. Firstly, really keen on the media stuff that you were doing. I'm really interested in how we engage media and what impacts that has. I think I'd be really keen to know if you monitored or are monitoring what the articles or journalist sort of outputs were and the language they were using before you did your events with journalists, and then after, you know, are you hoping to have a shift in how they're portraying Lynx or engaging with different stakeholders? I'm really interested to understand that relationship between people's attitudes and media's perception of species. That's one question. I don't know if you want to answer that one first before I ask my second one.
Yeah, maybe just well, of course we monitor the media and we check how they report about the project. I'm not sure if we monitor before and after these excursions, so we don't do that, because we do them kind of randomly every now and then, every year or each year we take some of the journalists. But maybe it would be interesting to compare before the project and during and after the project. Maybe this would be nice. But I think Bernarda can answer this question because she's doing the media clipping. Maybe you can explain a bit more. We cannot hear you, Bernarda.
Bernie, you're muted.
I guess she has to. But yes, we do. Of course, we do monitor the media. We evaluate each clip that we register. So evaluate it in the same way. So we have comparable results. But yeah, I think Bernarda is the best person to answer because she does that. So sorry.
Yeah, great. No, yeah. That's fine. I was just really interested to know. Yeah, great, thank you. Yeah,
we go to the second question. Maybe she will answer when she manages to get the connection going.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, my other question was sort of more of a comment / question. Is I'm one of the founders of the WildTrack Specialist Group, and so WildTrack are an organisation set up in the US, focusing on non-invasive monitoring, but they also have an award-winning footprint technology which can identify individuals from their footprints. And
wow,
yeah, it's really cool. And we use it for lots of different species, and it does work very well, and snow is a really good substrate for that. So when you mentioned snow tracking, I automatically, a little light bulb came on for the tracking.
You're collecting snow from the footprints?
No. So you just take a photo of the track in the snow, and then we basically build an algorithm based on known footprints. So from zoo animals, or if you have captive animals, for example, so you know which individual it is. We build a database of male and female, whoever, lynx, tiger, bear, whatever. And then when you start collecting your wild footprints, it can then tell you to a certain percentage, it could be 95%, 37%, or whatever, how accurate it thinks it is in relation to that animal already being in the database or it being a new animal. And it also can tell you what sex it is from the footprint. So it'd be like, okay, I'm 97% sure this animal is not in the database and I think it is male or whatever. So I'd be really, really keen to maybe have a chat about to see whether your project would be interested in doing that. And we focus quite a lot on trying to work with Indigenous people like hunters or trackers, because there's a lot of knowledge there and expertise. So I'd be, and I know the group would be, really keen. We don't currently have Lynx, I don't think, in our project species.
Just write us an email. You can write on LifeLinks or on my email. I've checked, so I will get it anyway. So, and yeah, please write and we can discuss more about this. I think we would be interested in, and yeah.
Okay, thanks. I'll do that.
I can connect you guys via email, okay? If you make it.
Yeah, thank you, Adriana. That'd be brilliant. Thank you.
Brilliant. So I think, Adriana, do you want to ask some, if you raised your hand, would you like to ask a question?
Yes, actually, I was wondering about the, when you talked about the cross-sectional research on attitudes, I think it was Vesna talking about that. So you've done the beginning. Have you done the during already? Or how many have you done? And when are you planning to do the next one? And my question would be, if you've done more than one, what differences did you found between them?
Okay, also for this question, the Bernarda is the right person to answer. But the first section of the survey was done at the beginning of the project. Now the results which I showed you was from the second part.
Okay.
So the third part, yes.
Vesna, sorry to interrupt you. So Bernarda has problems. She wants to unmute her mic, but she cannot. Like, it doesn't function. And we checked all the settings and stuff. But can someone else unmute her, maybe?
I can have a look and see if I can work out how, maybe.
Okay, maybe Vesna, you can try to say something about it.
Okay, but the last survey will be done at the end of the project, and so far the results didn't show any important differences in the attitudes among all three stakeholder species. So we can say, as the rock in the previous session already emphasized, that especially among the hunters, the support towards the species didn't fail. They still support the lynx as much as they supported it at the beginning. Also translocations, so we can say that our relationships are built well with them, and the communication efforts are useful and are doing well. And maybe regarding the livestock breeders, also the rock pointed out that we have in Slovenia up to one damage case on the domestic livestock. So the lynx does not represent the conflict species for the farmers. So if these situations would theoretically in the future arise, maybe the support could be a little bit lower, or maybe we should put some more efforts in the future already also into this stakeholder group.
Great. Thank you for your answer. Adriana, did you want to?
I was just wondering if I should remove Bernarda and you want to try coming in again. Well, she's gone.
Or maybe we were also thinking about if I call her and just put her on my speaker. Maybe
she'll try to come back. We'll see if it'll be better.
Okay. Okay. Deal.
Brilliant. Whilst we're waiting for Bernarda to come back in, shall we have another question from Anna?
Hi, thank you so much for this wonderful presentation. It was really fun to hear about all the creative projects that you all have been working on. My name's Anna Santo. I'm a PhD student at University of British Columbia, and I'm working with a kind of a collaborative group that's exploring the feasibility of reintroducing a large carnivore. And a question that I have after your presentation is, it seems like a lot of the focus of your engagement and outreach has been on the community that is receiving the animals. That makes perfect sense. It's a big change for those people. I'm wondering if you found that it was necessary to do any communications or engagement with the communities that were donating the animals, or if they, were aware of that, and how you address that at all.
Yeah, our partners from Slovakia and from Romania, they had some activities, but I think they were not so active as we were here. So I guess as far as carnivores were concerned, people are, they're in some situation when, let's say, a population of lynx would be endangered because of the translocations, but we took really high measures not to do that, because we are monitoring heavily the source population also, so to know how much lynx are left, so that it wouldn't happen that we would endanger the population in the source area with the translocations. And as I mentioned before, so with the carnivores, people are usually happy that they are going away, especially the Romanians, they were offering, you can also take some bears, we have plenty. So it was, it was really not a high concern that people would be concerned about like removing too much animals. There was a little bit of not really an issue in Slovakia. Because they had some different projects going on. Also, Slovakia historically is the source country for lynx in Europe, all around Europe. So they were giving them in the 73, the Slovenia got them from Slovakia. Also, so the Swiss got them there, the Germans, everybody got them from Slovakia. So in the Life Lynx project, we said, okay, the Carpathians are bigger than just Slovakia, so we engaged Romanians, and this was a really good thing to do because, it was important from a genetic perspective. We get more diverse animals, and also, from this perspective, because there are so many lynxes already were gone from Slovakia, and there are some discussions that maybe they should stop with the translocations. But in any case, we monitor the population, and it's still in good status. So in the source.
Great, thank you for that question and answer. Bernarda, are you able to talk now? Is it working?
Hi. Do you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Cool. Yeah, it works now. Okay. Can people repeat their questions so that I can try to answer now?
Right. So my question was, what were the key differences between the first and the second data collection on attitudes? What were the more interesting things that you found, and when you're planning to do the next one?
So the first one was done in 2019, the second one in 2021, and the third one will be done this year. We are already preparing the questionnaire to be sent out. So basically I can comment more on Slovenia than for other countries. So basically in Slovenia, the attitude is still positive. It even got a bit better for general public and breeders. But for hunters, the percentage is a bit lower, but we think that it's also because the number of hunters surveyed the second time was 5 times bigger than the first time. So it's probably because this second survey was more, probably shows better picture of the real state but they are very positive, the hunters. It's just a few percentage the difference between the first and the second survey. So yeah, in general, they are positive in all the groups in all the surveys till now.
Great, thank you. And just to build on from Adriana's question, are you using the exact same questions each time you're distributing the questionnaire, or are you slightly updating, changing them around?
Basically, they are the same questions. We just add like just 3 questions were changed. One question was no longer relevant in the second survey. It was about which source population is the best for reintroduction. And since reintroduction has already started, we didn't ask that in the second survey. And we added a question about whether they already answered to the first questionnaire, because we are interested in people who answer to the questionnaire more times. So basically, it's the same questionnaire. But and the one in Dinaris, it was also similar. Like some questions are similar as in 2008 when they did Dinaris questionnaire, so that we can also see some differences over longer periods of time if we want to.
Yeah, brilliant, thank you. Yeah, whilst we're waiting for a few more questions, I did have a question maybe for Vesna, but I'm a PhD student at the University of Kent, looking at like human dimensions of the lynx reintroduction into Scotland, and at the moment I feel that the livestock breeders are quite heavily opposed to the idea, and obviously there's no experience there, but there's still that perception. But I was just wondering, when you were pursuing the project and wanting to expand the population numbers, did you have any kind of opposition from livestock breeders there?
Regarding the lynx, we have no such problems, but in Slovenia we have also wolf and bear present. They are spreading their population range and also increasing in numbers. So we have a similar situation for these 2 species, not for the lynx. So as Maja said previously, for the lynx, our alpine region, alpine part of Slovenia is the part that generally more opposed to the large carnivore species than other part of the Slovenia. So in the wolf research of the attitudes or knowledge of the species, what we recognize is that the respondents from the area where the large carnivores were traditionally present often oppose less to the species. So if the species is longer present in a decent area, the opposition is slightly lower, or maybe it change not so quickly. But for the wolf and the bear projects that we are also involved in, mainly the wolf species. We do a lot of communication that was presented here for the hunters and the lynx. We do a lot of similar activities regarding the wolf and the livestock breeders, like one-to-one communication, small groups that talk about different technological or communication activities, include the farmers into the communication activities and education activities into the schools and so on.
Great, that's really interesting, thank you. So yeah, I've heard it a few times that when there's wolf and bear the links are not so much thought about.
But I think that the knowledge we have for one species in one country can be transformed for the second species in the second country. So if we can share this knowledge, we can point out some activities that are useful also for other countries or other species, and we can continue and upgrade it. So I think that this kind of sessions are very, very useful.
Yeah, definitely. No, that sounds really good. Thank you. Anna, did you have a question?
Yeah, just another follow-up question. It was really interesting to see that there is such strong and widespread support in people's attitudes about lynx conservation, and I wanted to ask you to maybe think out loud or speculate about any like beliefs or values that you think are underpinning those positive attitudes. I think Faye's question points out that people can have really different beliefs and values about the same kind of thing in different contexts. And I'm just wondering, in your project, what have you seen kind of rise to the surface as being important for driving these positive attitudes?
Well, for hunters, for sure, it's their active involvement. They were actively involved also in the first lynx reintroduction in '73, and I think when we showed this to them with the documentary film, also we reminded them they kind of continue. They feel they are continuing the work that hunters before them were doing. That also the president of the Hunters Association stated many times that the Hunters Association is supporting this. So they are supporting the conservation of the animal that was present here in the past, and it should stay here for the future. He was also kind of emotional sometimes, saying that when he was a young boy, the lynx was brought back, but now when he's like an older guy in his mature years, he's now helping save the lynx again. So I think this really helped. So also with for sure there are hunters who are opposing this. We are not like, we know they are, for sure they are. We are diverse society, but I think this really helped building on this this experience from the past, and this moving on with that.
Great.
But maybe just to add, if we compare the lynx to the wolf and a bear species, maybe Bernarda, you should correct me or add something. That for the lynx mainly or usually comes this aesthetic or naturalistic or ecological importance of the species out of these pro-conservation attitudes. But for the bear and the wolf species, usually this utilitarian view often comes out in this contra conservational attitudes. So I think that because the lynx is not a conflicted species or perceived as this kind of species, it results in very higher attitudes.
Yes, Vesna, I agree. We actually, in the Lynx questionnaire, we actually had questions. What do you think of lynx? Is it beautiful or ugly? Is it interesting or uninteresting? Is it useful or harmful? Is it dangerous or not dangerous? And in general, the answers were very positive. So people actually think that it's very beautiful, very interesting, useful, and so on. So, yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you for your answers. Alicia, would you like to ask a question?
Please. Hi, thank you very much for this talk. It's been really interesting and some fantastic ideas for the community engagement side there. I'm a master's student at the University of Kent, and I'm quite interested in getting the younger generation involved in this. So I was just wondering, your involvement with them, was it limited to education, or was there some kind of consultation process in there as well to find out their views? If you were finding out their views, how closely did what they think align with what the other adult groups were thinking? Yeah, just really interested there to know.
Okay, so before we really started this work with schools, we had another meeting also within some other project. So the point of that meeting was to actually ask the teachers what do they want from this work with children, what would come handy for teachers, you know. So for example, we predicted to make this teacher's manual, right? So we asked them about, like, for which age of pupils should we prepare this? What kind of topics you think would be really interesting, or what topics should we cover that it would be useful for you to use this manual, for example. So we did ask the teachers a bit about what and how should we approach this work with them, also for adopting the links. So I hope I answered. If I didn't, ask me more.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you. More of an educational element than a consultation element, but that's fantastic.
Yes,
thank you.
Yes, more educational.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Has anyone got any more questions? Adriana?
I have lots of questions, so I'm trying to refrain myself from asking. I was actually wondering about the negative attitudes. What is the what were the negative attitudes that you had to address in the general public, in hunters and domestic animal farmers? We can imagine that you need to stop them from killing the animals or trapping or whatever. What were the key negative attitudes that you had to address? Was there all related to hunting, or there other things that you found in a minority of people and were of concern?
I can ask about the questionnaire. So in the questionnaire, we asked them if they think that lynx regulates the ungulate population, and actually they agreed mostly, even hunters. But then we also asked them if they think that lynx will, their chances of hunting ungulates will be lower because of lynx. And in the last survey, it was, I think, 39% of hunters thought that. So actually, they have positive opinion about lynx, but we also have to work with them and explain them so that their opinion doesn't get lower, would I say. So, yeah. And also the management plans will get adopted, right, Maja? The hunting.
Yeah, we are working also on that. So we have adapted the management plan for ungulates where the carnivores are present. So they have different ways of let's say, of rules, how much they can or they should hunt in certain areas. So we try to give them some credit for that, because of course because the carnivores present there, they can hunt less, but we give them we adapt the management because of that.
Maybe I would add here, sorry. Maybe I would just add that from the beginning of the project, we were really focused on communicating that, or that our communication would be strictly separated from the communication about the wolf. So that because of the conflictiveness. So because the wolf is such a conflictive species, we're really careful to address lynx separately. So to let people know, also local inhabitants, like as the general public, to let them know that it is really low possibility to even see the lynx, and if it would come to damage on livestock, it wouldn't be much of the the number of the animals would be low, and it wouldn't happen so often. So we were strict also about our communication about it.
Okay, thanks.
And maybe just to add, Adriana, if you ask about the general public, right, Bernarda, this lower percent of negative attitudes toward the lynx among the local general public came out of the fear, and the fear was related to the lower knowledge of the species. So if we rise up the knowledge of the species, we believe that we will also lower the fear and consequently higher the pro-conservation attitudes toward the species. But it was the small percent, since the communication efforts are far from the wolf.
Mm. That kind of, I don't want to hog it, but it begs the question of, I guess you don't want to reduce the chances of the wolf and the bear surviving either by focusing on the positives of the lynx. I don't know, how do you balance this act of conserving all different large carnivores? Is there a solution? I don't know, when you focus, because I understand you have to focus on the lynx, the characteristics are different, there's less of a controversial species, but is there space to also promote the other ones, or it's just not possible?
So I don't think that if we're talking about lynx, that we are kind of excluding or taking the space to talk about the wolf or the bear. So I think the communication for those species should be or is different, but I don't think that talking about lynx takes the space to talk about those two, because the space is there, you know. As soon as we have some damages from the wolf or bear, like the space to talk about those species just broadens.
Thank you. And then I think we've got time for one last question. James, did you have your hand raised?
Yeah, thanks very much. I'm not sure if you can see me. I don't know if my camera's working. My name's James. Great talk. Really interesting to hear all the talk about large carnivores. What a dream to have that problem here in Scotland, like the issues of managing different carnivores. But from a lynx point of view, as others have said, for us, one of the major stakeholders that we will have real trouble convincing that lynx reintroduction to Scotland is a good idea is our livestock breeders. And that's because the majority of livestock in Scotland is sheep. Over 55% of the upland agricultural land in Scotland is devoted to sheep farming. So I was wondering how similar that was in Slovenia. Is it primarily sheep, or is it cattle? Because I think for us, our cattle farmers are probably less concerned about lynx than the sheep farmers.
Vesna, do you want to answer this?
Okay, I can try to answer this. In Slovenia, we have I don't know the percentage of the sheep or small livestock as goats or sheep, or bigger livestock like horses and cows. Maja, if you know the percentage, I don't remember, but it depends mainly on the grazing or handling with the livestock. Mainly the cows or horses, their grazing are different. Their grazing management is different than the sheep or goats. So in the alpine region, alpine part of the Slovenia, the free grazing are mainly sheep and goats. So this represents the bigger problem that the bigger livestock species. So we usually use different technical measures to protect these species, and like high electric fences that we usually use for the smaller livestock, like goats and sheep. And in case of the wolf, we on the national level for the bigger livestock, we usually evaluate if the economical issues is bigger than the damage itself. So in this case, the problematical individuals between the wolves are also culled. So if I answer the questions, or you can ask some more if I didn't answer.
I would maybe like to add that in Slovenia we have a big percentage of forest, so it's more than 60%. Yes. So I think that's also the big difference between Scotland and Slovenia. I'm sure that in Scotland you have many more sheep than we have in Slovenia.
Yeah, we love our sheep in Scotland. Yeah, thank you so much. I think that's all we have time for. So thank you so much for some great talks, and yeah, for carrying out such an inspiring project. There's some fantastic communication methods, and it really highlights how important it is. So yeah, thank you so much for your time. And yeah, so the two talks have been great. We've really learned a lot, and yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. I just want to let you know there are links connecting to resources in the chat for our group and for the live links. Okay, so if you want to access the chat, and thank you very much for being here. If you would like to be added to our human-wildlife interactions working group for more discussions and any other updates, please send me a message, or we'll add your email, and we'll have a recording of the session to share with colleagues that are not here and people you think that might be interested. So we'll be sharing that later this week. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for Faye. Thanks Faye for sharing. Thanks very much, Vesna and Maja, and the other colleagues, Manca and Bernie, for helping out with all your data. It's been really fascinating, and it's an area that has so much importance for what we're trying to do, looking at human dimensions. So the further work, isn't it? Going back to what you know and working on education and working with engagement. So it's been wonderful. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. Okay.
Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.